America's first resort destination is brought to you by Discover the Palm Beaches. Come see where America's first resort destination was built and genuine hospitality began. An era of romantic beach escapes and grand vacation homes. A place with breeze-filled days and elegant nights where you can still hear echoes of a gentler time. Enduring, timeless, unmatched. Sun-kissed sands embrace the warm Gulf Stream waters and timeless style meets the present day. Once more, the golden age of travel calls out. We invite you to visit the original vacation capital of Florida, the one that started it all. On this series, join me, Keely Ferguson, as I discover the history, architecture, attractions, activities, food, and hospitality that makes the Palm Beaches America's first resort destination. The original, the one, the only, the Palm Beaches. You're watching America's first resort destination, and this is the Preservation Foundation of Palm Beach. Joining me now is Amanda Schuyler from the Preservation Foundation of Palm Beach. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, this is a beautiful building and facility. Tell us about this place.
So the Preservation Foundation was founded in 1980, and there were a group of citizens that were concerned about some of the development that was happening here and the loss of a lot of the historic estates that were built here in the 1920s. At the time, in the late 70s, these estates were being demolished. The land was being subdivided. Many of them were constructed on lake to ocean tracks, and there was a lot of opportunity to redevelop that land. And some of the estates, for instance, like Cielito Lindo, which is today located on Kings Road, was actually cut into individual homes. And if you drive down that street today, you're driving through where the living room originally was located. There is an incredible history here because of the people that have come here over time and used it as a resort destination. These are, leaders of industry from all over the country that have come to this one small, tiny island since really the 1890s when Henry Flagler first built his hotels here. So education is one of the most important things that we do here as an organization is to really inspire people to learn about and save the places that make Palm Beach special. We have educational programming, we have lectures, we have exhibitions like the one behind me that you can see here on Marion Sims Wyeth, who is an architect whose architectural collection we hold in our archives. And our archives are a wonderful resource for the community to learn about individual buildings and the architects that really created the built environment that we know today. We also have the Little Red Schoolhouse, which is the oldest one-room schoolhouse in Southeast Florida. It was built in 1886, and we have 4,000 students from all over Palm Beach, Martin, and Broward counties that come and visit the schoolhouse and recreate a mini school day in the 1890s. Oh. They dress up in period garb, they pack a pioneer-era lunch, and it's really just an amazing experience for them to imagine a time before there was electricity, especially when you think about the technology that we have in the classroom today.
So I'm going to put you on the spot here, Amanda.
Sure.
What is your favorite historical building on the island?
Well, I have to say that I'm definitely preferential to Seagull Cottage. Seagull Cottage was built in 1886 in the Queen Anne shingle style, which is a very Victorian, ornate style of architecture. Many of the first inhabitants of the island were from the north, and so they brought with them architectural styles that were familiar to them. And so the Queen Anne shingle style, this Victorian style, is something that was very common. The Royal Poinciana Hotel was built in the Georgian style. So very formal architectural styles that we don't really associate with Palm Beach today because we primarily think of the Mediterranean Revival style, which was introduced by Addison Meisner. And many people think that, Henry Flagler was the first person to envision this area as a resort destination, but there were actually people coming here and building vacation homes before Henry Flagler even arrived. In addition to being one of the last vestiges of the pioneer era, Seagull Cottage was one of the first projects of the Preservation Foundation, its preservation. The building, after it became the home of Henry Flagler, he purchased it from R.R. McCormick and lived there while he was building Whitehall, which was completed in 1902. Was moved over to the ocean from the lake and was placed alongside the Breakers Hotel, what we know as the Breakers Hotel today, and it was available for rental for families who maybe needed more space or a little bit more privacy and didn't want to be in the hotel. And over the years, it had fallen into disrepair and was actually going to be demolished. And the Preservation Foundation negotiated for it to be saved, actually cut the building in half and drove it across the Breakers Golf Course back to the location where it is today, right across the lake trail from the Flagler Museum. Our formal mission statement is to preserve the architectural and cultural heritage and unique scenic quality of the town of Palm Beach. And Palm Beach is the beautiful place that it is because of the natural environment. And that's really the reason why people originally came here. And this is a very fragile barrier island. And originally, when it was first inhabited, it was populated with plants native to Florida. And that is a big part of what we provide education on today as an organization. Just outside these doors from where we're sitting right now is Pan's Garden, which is another project of the Preservation Foundation that we completed in 1994. And it's actually Florida's first all-native botanical garden. It's a 1/4 acre garden that is broken up into 2 distinct areas that represent the ecosystems of Florida. We have the upland area and the wetlands area. If you visit Pan's Garden, you'll find that it's a living library of diverse and beautiful plant species that really reflect the original landscape that the first settlers to Palm Beach encountered.
Hi, I'm Susan Lerner. I'm the Director of Horticulture here at the Preservation Foundation of Palm Beach. Pan's Garden is the first all-native botanical garden in the state of Florida. It was established in 1994 by the Preservation Foundation. This property used to be an old parking lot, and the foundation purchased the land in 1993, and it was established as a botanical garden for native plants. This fellow, Pan of Rohalion, is the namesake of the garden. This is how the garden got its name. Pan is the mythological god of shepherds and wild places, a perfect and fitting symbol for our little garden here. Roughly 250 species of native plants inhabit this garden, and just about half of them are actually native to this barrier island, to the island of Palm Beach. The wall behind me comes from the Casa Apava estate, which was designed in 1918 by Abram Garfield. He's the youngest son of our President Garfield. And when Terry Allen Kramer purchased the piece of the Casa Apava estate when it was divided up, she donated this wall to us. It fit perfectly into our design of the garden. We really love our little garden here. And while it's not a habitat restoration by any means, it is representative of the habitats that would have been here in the Palm Beaches centuries ago. You can get a feel of the native plants from the days of Flagler right here just a block north of Worth Avenue. So when you visit the Palm Beaches, bring a book or bring your lunch and spend a few minutes or an hour here at Pan's Garden. We'd love to see you.
America's first resort destination is brought to you by Discover the Palm Beaches.
So a little bit earlier in the interview, I mentioned Seagull Cottage, which really represents the northern style of architecture that was first introduced to the island. We see a huge sea change in the built environment of Palm Beach with the introduction of the Mediterranean revival style by Addison Meisner. Addison Meisner first came to Palm Beach with Paris Singer, and his very first commission was the Everglades Club, which opened in 1919. And with the Everglades Club, we not only see the introduction of this new architectural style that has come to define not only Palm Beach, but so much of South Florida, but we also see a different part of the island being developed. Previously, the North Bridge, which was originally a railroad bridge, would have brought guests to Flagler's hotels. With the development of the Everglades Club, we've now moved further south, and we see the development of Worth Avenue, which today is known as a world-class shopping destination. So Addison Meisner designs the Everglades Club in 1919, and the early members of the club are just enamored with it. It's designed in a way that's so well suited to the environment and truly embraces the indoor-outdoor lifestyle that Palm Beach is known for. And so we now see the center of social life transitioning from the hotels to private clubs and private residences. In 1924, Addison Meisner designs Via Meisner, which today is just this incredible transportive space that you really feel like you're walking in a small Mediterranean village when you visit. In Via Meisner is Villa Meisner, his personal residence, which was a huge tower that the top floor was his studio, and you can just imagine him looking out over his kingdom, over the island, and it being one of the tallest buildings at the time. And just next door was also his office, where he would meet with clients, and the courtyard there was used as a showcase to display the various products that he offered through Meisner Industries, which created all sorts of things from cast stone to wrought iron balustrades and chandeliers, beautiful hand glazed tile, the Meisner tiles that we see. So when we think about this period of time that, really was the building boom of the 1920s, the roaring 20s, there are 5 main architects that we think about, and Addison Meisner being one of them. Then we have Marion Sims Wyeth, John Volk, and Howard Major. And Wyeth which many people I don't think realize, arrived right about the same time that Meisner did, just about a year afterwards. He was commissioned to design the first Good Samaritan hospital, and one of his notable properties that he designed is just east of the Everglades Club. It's called Hogarcito, and it's on this little jewel of a street called Gulfview Road that he really envisioned himself and developed with Marjorie Merriweather Post and E.F. Hutton. Hogarcito was built in 1921, and it was Marjorie Merriweather Post's first home here on the island before she built Mar-a-Lago. In addition to Meisner and Wyeth, Maurice Bosio was another influential architect who worked here on the island. The Chase residence, which he designed in 1928 for his future mother-in-law, is a wonderful example of his work. It's designed in the French Normandy style, which was another style popularized in the North that was brought here. And it's just an incredible fairy tale-like structure that you can imagine him designing with his future bride-to-be in mind, with a tower where she could work on her novels.
I gotta talk to my husband, man, because listen. No, real talk. Listen, Flagler built Whitehall for the third wife, not even the first day, his third wife, and now we've got so many buildings up there for the. Listen. I get a card for my anniversary. Can I? I'm just playing, honey. I'm like, can I get a tower?
Many architects who worked on the island embraced the Mediterranean Revival style because it was adapted from architectural styles that share a similar climate with South Florida. However, there was one architect, Howard Major, who felt very strongly that actually the best style suited to the area is the Bermuda style. And a great example of his work in the Bermuda style is Tarpon Island, which was built in 1939. Tarpon Island is a great example of the style and also is just an incredible location because it's its own private island on the island of Palm Beach. All of these buildings that I have just referenced were actually featured in past episodes of our series, Landmarks Discovered. Landmarks Discovered is an incredible vehicle for the Preservation Foundation to share the resources that we have in our archives, historic photographs and original architectural plans, and to also impart a little bit of the history of the island and how it's represented through its architecture. Each episode is 10 to 15 minutes in length and provides an amazing snippet of information on the history of that particular building and how it relates to the overall history of the island. We've featured public buildings like Town Hall, sanctuaries like Bethesda by the Sea, and private residences that otherwise you would not have an opportunity to see the insides of. These episodes can be accessed anytime on our website, which is palmbeachpreservation.org.
Amanda, thank you so much for joining us to tell us all about this island. I know there's so much more you could tell us about the island, particularly in regards to the architecture, but many people think of Palm Beach as a resort destination. In fact, many call it America's first resort destination. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I definitely think that Palm Beach itself is one of the first areas that was developed as a resort destination in mind. Certainly when Henry Flagler platted both the island and West Palm Beach, he intentionally kept commerce on the other side of Lake Worth so that this could be really a destination for leisure.
America's first resort destination is brought to you by Discover the Palm Beaches. Okay, today we are in for a treat. We are going to do some island living. Here to help us out with that is Leslie Diver. Hi, Leslie.
Hey, Keely, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me. Well, today you're going to get a little piece of my bike tour here. Once you cross that bridge behind us, you're on the famed town of Palm Beach. We're known here for our colorful history, our world-class architecture, and our residents, I say both famous and infamous. So we're just going to take a little segment of it. I'm going to show you a project done by Howard Major, one of our important architects here in our history. He brought the British West Indies style to the town. And then we're going to walk our bikes through the Via Parigi, Via Meisner, and we're going to discuss Addison Meisner, our best known, our famous architect that brought the eclectic Mediterranean style to our town and really gave us our look.
Okay, Leslie, you ready?
Yep.
All right, let's ride.
I'll lead. So Keely, I've stopped us here on Peruvian Avenue in front of Major Alley. Major Alley is named for Howard Major. He's the architect we credit for bringing the British West Indies style to the island and giving us this look during the Depression, when people wanted to be a little bit more low-key with their architectural style. So instead of the big Meisner, grand Mediterranean mansions, this was a popular look. Down Major Alley, you'll see these very charming 2-bedroom, 1-bath homes, 1,200 square feet that go for about $2.5 million.
Is that all?
No.
Okay. I'm just going to move my family on over here. I'll give them a pocketbook.
But let's keep on going up Peruvian to the Vias.
Okay.
So Keely, we're now in Via Parigi. This was designed in 1923 by Addison Meisner, our famed architect. He was considered a pioneer in urban developments as he designed this as retail on the first floor, apartments on the second. Popular concept now, but in 1923, very European, unheard of in the United States. So his whole thing was trying to make new buildings look old. So when he came into town, if you see in all these doors, it's called Pecky cypress. It has little wormholes in it. They thought it was ugly, so they were using it at construction sites as cheap planking. But he adored it because with the wormholes, he even knew it looks old. So he started using it for a lot of his detail work, became popular, expensive. In the summer, he'd go to Europe and just buy architectural detail to plaster on his new buildings. So the look he has, the architectural features he's known for are, the three of them, the red barrel tile roof, that broken choppy roof line behind us. So he wanted you to think the massive piece on the far end was the original building. That flat roof line was an addition, the slanted roof line another addition, and then the many different window styles on any one facade, which we'll see better when we walk through the Via and we're in front of the Everglades Club. So I really credit Meisner and his business partner, Paris Singer of the Singer Sewing Machine fortune, with starting Worth Avenue. It's 1919. I say they're business partners because I say Meisner's gay. Not everybody does, but I do. But Paris Singer definitely was not gay. He had an on-again, off-again relationship with Isadora Duncan, the famed dancer, the mother of modern dance. Actually had a child by her while I was married to somebody else. A very tumultuous relationship. It's 1919. They break up for the umpteenth time. He comes down here to Palm Beach to be depressed. Sadly had a depression problem, ended up killing himself a couple years later. And his buddy Meisner was up in New York struggling as an architect, got mugged by a group of hitchhikers. So Paris invites Addison, come on down to Palm Beach, convalesce in the warm Florida sun. And so in 1919, while here, they hatched the idea that the rich really want to spend. But they're worried about vacationing in Europe in their favorite French Riviera because it's wartime in Europe. So they decide to build the Everglades Club, the palatial-sized mansions, and make Palm Beach the American Riviera. So one of our claims to fame here is we are the first town in the United States built as a resort. We've never been anything but a resort.
Okay.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to keep moving through the Via. He always loved to put the twists and turns in the Vias, the mystery behind the next corner, and we'll be out on Worth Avenue, our famed shopping street.
Okay, wait. Okay, let me wrap my head around this. So this is Via Parigi.
Right.
That part I got. You know I didn't know you was gonna spill all the tea, right? Of Palm Beach. I was like, wait, what? And all this reality show stuff, I love it.
You like it?
I love it.
Yeah.
This is a great tour so far. I cannot wait to see what's around the next corner.
Thank you so much. Let's go.
Okay, so Leslie, you are from Delaware.
Correct.
And you've been in Florida for 30 years?
30
something
plus
like that?
years.
30 plus years. Why the fascination with Palm Beach? There are a lot of places to be in South Florida, but why here?
I found out I had a passion for architecture. And when you get to live in a town like Palm Beach and you're surrounded by world-class architecture, it's hard to move. Like, where else would I go that's more beautiful, safety, security, privacy? It's really a fabulous place to live in.
Well, thank you so much, Leslie. I am full from all of the tea I've been sipping, as well as eating the obligatory but imaginary popcorn from the gossip you gave us. Again, thank you so much.
You are welcome. Please come back, get another segment of the bike tour, or take the driving tour. Love to have you.
Thank you so much, and we will certainly come back. Great tour of the island, and here is the best part. Besides all of the juicy gossip you get a little exercise too. America's first resort destination is brought to you by Discover the Palm Beaches. In the 1890s, just before the turn of the century, industry tycoons and elegant socialites began flocking to the pristine shores of a new destination. Welcome to the Breakers, the original home of R&R. Joining me now is the Director of Communications for the Breakers Palm Beach, Sarah Flight, and she's here to tell us about the history of this grand resort. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you so much for having me. Well, welcome to the iconic Breakers Palm Beach. We are located on the beautiful island of Palm Beach in Florida. The Breakers is Italian Renaissance inspired. It's actually mimicked after the Villa Medici in Rome, and the architecture and detailing of the property is absolutely breathtaking. One of the things I always tell people that's so unique to this property is to be sure to look up. The ceilings of this hotel are just to die for, and they're all extremely unique and detailed. Specifically the lobby ceiling, it's a vaulted ceiling. 72 artisans were brought over from Italy to hand paint all of the intricate details within the ceiling itself. So it is absolutely incredible. And one of the really unique things about the Breakers is that it's still owned by the heirs of Henry Flagler himself. So the Breakers is one of Florida's oldest continuously operating businesses, and it is the oldest luxury historic hotel in America still in the hands of its original ownership, which is simply incredible. And part of that is due to the dedication and passion of our owners. Every year, they invest over $25 million back into the property to balance the preservation with our modernization. So that makes this property just ideal and really special for families and generations to come when they're visiting South Florida and the Palm Beaches specifically. The Florentine fountain was inspired by the Boboli Gardens in Florence, and what's really unique is that there's a nod to South Florida within the sculpture itself. You will see blue herons and alligators, so there's that nod to South Florida that's just really interesting and fun. It's actually one of our most photographed locations on property. The property itself includes 10 different restaurants, so we have anything from chic beachfront casual dining to more sophisticated dining options. There's a 5-star spa, 2 golf courses, so whether you're traveling with your grandparents, parents, kids, grandkids, there's something for everyone to do, and that doesn't even include the beach, the 4 pools, our poolside bungalows, water sports, kids activities. There really is just something for everyone here.
Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing the history and all the fabulousness of this wonderful property and really letting us know why, with over 125 years of history, that the Breakers Palm Beach is part of why the Palm Beaches is America's first resort destination.